Good morning. Yeah, yeah, it's still morning. Uh, yeah, I've added a little something to my pictures worth a thousand words subtitle for from the other day. This is a squirt bottle. It's filled with holy water. It's kind of funny. Uh, and those people who don't believe in spiritual warfare have might think that that's crazy that I've got a squirt bottle of holy water, but trust me, it's funny because I'm to the point where that's the level of holy water I require for daily household use. Just so you know. Anyway, that's my little blurb for today. I was working on it's March. Oh, sorry, I'm going to pause the background noise. Oop. Sorry. It's March the 25th. I tried to. Why is this not working? My technology loves to play with me. And this brain of mine is no longer able to, be worth anything to me right now. So I came to find out yesterday I'm got cataracts on my eyes now. So that's part of the reason why I can't see, which is good news. The other thing is my vision is so, in the basement. For those people who are following me to figure out how to deal with chronic, lifelong autoimmune issues and aging, that's that's the beauty of being, getting older. I mean, these problems used to present themselves to people who were in their 80s, but in Canada, hey, they start they start happening as young as 40s for some people because in Canada, we've been poisoned by our environment, courtesy of our federal government and the what is it? The environmental crowd, the globalist crowd, those people that are so concerned about carbon. Well, they've been experimenting in Canada for a good long while, and trust me, it hasn't served the North American population very well. Just so you know, just saying, just saying. So, I know that I have some family members that may or may not be curious as to why I'm back online again after a bit of a sabbatical I had to take. um, I hope I hope you know how much you mean to me. If by chance you happen to come upon some of my online work that I've been doing over the last few years, I am doing pretty well, considering I'm not supposed to be here. So, but I'm posting now more because I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to speak for myself for very much longer. I know that, as your body starts to deteriorate and give up some of your abilities over the course of a lifetime, um, I can see, based on my own family history, medically speaking, that there are issues that are propping up that are kind of concerning. In fact, after I go to mass at noon, oh, I've got to pause. Anyhow, that was my brother calling. The situation I'm in right now, just so you know, is I'm going to mass first because I have to go to emergency, sadly, because my feeding tube fell out yesterday. It was definitely falling out yesterday. The nurse informed me that I need to have it replaced. I have to have some extra granulated tissue burnt off again. It's going to be, but this feeding tube has come out. I lost count of how many times it's come out since the end of August when it was horrifically inserted. It's a story for another day. Anyway, the point is, I wanted to finish up from my post from yesterday that I wasn't able to bring on online. I'm going to bring up yesterday's post I'm able to evaluate what it was, because it sort of touches on the healthcare system experience for the average Canadian person who's sick. And so this is actually, you know, this particular post that I'm making is kind of um, part of the direction my channel I'd like to take it if I continue to be able to speak for myself. I have a brother who was, you know, ended up with kidney failure several years back, which sort of might give you an idea. And he had home, because I don't recommend home dialysis for anybody, because it really opens you up to a very nasty infectious process that will kill you. But you don't cost the healthcare system of Canada very much if you do dialysis at home. But you do increase the opportunistic infections that occur. So that's what happened to him, and I don't want that to happen to me. So I've got to go to a hospital because my blood pressure is pretty freaking high. Found out yesterday at the eye doctor's appointment, that this eye here, I don't have control really over anymore for some weird reason. I don't know what it is. My concern is because I do have a learned by osmosis healthcare background, that maybe I've been experiencing some TIAs. They're called trans ischemic attacks. And with outside of my knowledge, I don't want to lose my vision. I don't want to lose my vision. I don't want to lose my driver's license. I don't want to lose my ability, my freedom to be able to get to church. Because church is more important than healthcare. To the average person, because your soul, believe it or not, is for eternity. This body is meant to die. And frankly, our Canadian healthcare system is very slowly but surely trying to kill it. Because I'm a costly Canadian born person who's got a voice and an understanding and some proof of what has happened to Canada during the course of my lifetime. It's documented pretty much all the way from birth to death. You know how it's been documented? My father's military records included our records too, because we never, being a military brat, we were property of the DND, or according to my dad anyway, that's what he used to say. And we weren't allowed to see any doctors anywhere outside of the military bases in Canada growing up, because guess why? It was free to soldiers. And you know, the poor man who enlisted in the military in Canada because they were too poor to eat, or you know, grew up so poor that they couldn't do anything, they you know, the military life was pretty rough. You know, but he lived with colitis all of his life, thanks be to the healthcare that he was able to finally receive through military. But that military healthcare that was inferior to what the there's two different streams back then, just so you know. It was like the 60s, 70s. I don't know, maybe even into the 80s. I could be wrong, but there were two different streams of healthcare: the military healthcare and the provincial healthcare. Now, we were always outside of the provincial healthcare system growing up, because Dad got it through the base. Everything was through the base. We got fed through the base. We got, you know, it's not like the soldiers back then got paid enough to really support their family, which is why my mother was forced to work all of her life until she stroked out, became too sick to be able to be of value to anybody. But anyway, the point is, I'm going to have to go to a hospital because I know my blood pressure is really high. And my urine output isn't great. The feeding tube's falling out again. My hope is I can return from that hospital with a replaced feeding tube again, the extra granulated tissue burnt off again, and an understanding of what my blood pressure and my blood work looks like, because I know that they'll at least take my blood work so I can evaluate whether or not my kidney disease process is progressing as well as everything else, because I can't rely on the doctors or the hospitals to do that for me. You see, I knew from the 90s that I had to be managing my own health care, not because I'm a hypochondriac or what do they call it, a malingerer or whatever they say, whatever the term is, psychosomatic illness person. It's because I want to stay alive. I want to stay alive, and I can't necessarily count on the healthcare system in Canada to keep me alive as long as I'm supposed to live. And I've got work to do. Those of you who know I'm a very devout Catholic, although I don't talk like one, look like one, or behave like one, but I am. And I have to get to Mass before I go to the emergency room. It's funny, trust me. But also, I wanted to point out a priest uh, to go along with this other. Father Rippinger is a good one for exorcism and all that nonsense that's going on, and that's heavily required in this world today. For those of us who know better, but I want to promote a couple of channels just so you know. First of all, the brand on my Chatty Greek Granny. It's one of my playlists. The brand. There's thousands of videos on that playlist, but it was inspired by my beautiful comedian and actor, and he should be a singer. He sings pretty well too, but he's a beautiful, talented entertainer, and I absolutely adore him. His name is Russell Brand. I'm sure a lot of you people know who he is already, so I don't need to go too far into how to find him. He's on Rumble, he's on Locals, he's on YouTube, he's on X. I don't know if he's on X. X, something weird's happening there, Mr. Elon Musk, if you're listening, or if you care to listen. I know I don't really understand what's happening. I do know that you seem to be going through something. I could be wrong, but my prayers are still with you, and I hope you're throwing your money toward the right path for people going forward. And if still, I just remember like what lessons you learned through Doge experience and your political experience were meant to teach you a lot about that the human animal and the space that you can't understand quite yet. It's the spiritual realm, and that spiritual realm is more real, believe it or not, than outer space. And I hope that your journey leads you to always stay in making the right choices in your life. But I love you as not as a woman loves a man. I love you as my soul loves the souls that I encounter in my life's journey. And I believe on some level you might be able to see this someday when God sees that you might need a little extra boost. I hope. I know that God exists. I know that whatever happens with these public journals that I make, God's present for. And the only real healing anybody ever really needs is spiritual healing. And that can only be attained if you have a good relationship with God, in whatever form God takes, as long as it's a God that leads you to the right to the ultimate, the one holy God that I've come to know. I know and understand. And it sounds arrogant, but it's not. It's true. And when you're the person up, if you happen to be the kind of person who seeks truth so that you can understand this world, understand this much, and receive this information and this truth, as a human person, you're not meant for this world. You're meant for an eternity. Because your soul that makes you seek out truth and understanding is beautiful and is meant for God and to dwell forever, ever eternity in His kingdom that He's already made ready for us in heaven, all in heaven, if we find Him and do the good, not for ourselves, do the good for the other. Anyway, that's my message for today. God bless you all. I hope I can post again tomorrow. But today I'm going to upload today's journal document to my channel, Chatty Great Granny. Chatty Great Granny. ChattyGreatGranny at YouTube. You'll know the correct channel for me and my daily or multi is Chatty Great Granny. Any other YouTube channels that may have the Chatty Great Granny emblem? There's one with a pride, a lion pride. Inspired me during one phase of my journey into social media. And there's another one with a beautiful baby. Beautiful baby. Chatty Great Granny 62, I think her the profile was those videos that I created were pretty ugly, but they're informative in a weird way, I think, to Dr. Jordan Peterson. But Father, the reason I'm on is to promote Russell Brand. I don't know if he needs my help. He probably doesn't, but Mikey O's channel, that chapter, but also John Ryan Snow. John Ryan Snow. He's already really popular, I know, in the United States. But his journey, his spiritual journey is pretty amazing if you watch his channel. And I have YouTube playing all night long because I wake up a lot. And he's one of the channels that just sort of I came across based on letting my place channels just YouTube decide for me what I'm going to be watching if I'm on one of my other channels. And through the night, I was watching his channel. Now the channels that are really important, or the episodes that are really important that I want to plug for anybody, is there's one he did with Father Rippinger. I hope I'm saying it right. And another he did with Father Ron. It was a year ago. I'm going to, just if you bear with, I'm going to pause. Okay, so, of course, Russell Brand is one. Joe Rogan, he doesn't need any help from me. But I mentioned him yesterday or the day before in my podcast because he was interviewing Pierre Polyev. Pierre Polyev. You need to earn the right to be our prime minister if you're privileged to become prime minister. Canada's a Catholic country, darling. I've got a book that can prove it. It was founded in Catholic principles. So, no, it's not a free to all country. It's a Catholic country. Catholic. Catholics need to be protected in Canada. The Catholic Church needs to be protected with our tax dollars in Canada. See to it. Or you just give over your position to somebody else. And how you can gain control is a word. It's called a referendum. Call for one. A referendum. A Canadian referendum. All provinces. It's a very costly thing to this country that's bankrupt. I call for a referendum of all Canadian citizens. I guarantee I've got access to channels that can make sure that there is a referendum that occurs, because we can get the petitions required to make a referendum to overturn the last election. And if you're not willing to listen to the public and the people of Canada to determine how Canada should be run, then you need to step aside, Mr. Man, because Catholic and Christianity is what this country was founded on and needs to remain and needs to be protected. Not whatever morons who have been allowed to come and invade our country since 2017 want it to become courtesy of the liberal fucking you know what. I'm angry. I'm not crazy. And you don't get to throw away our freedom because you're stupid and young. I know you've got a good heart. Turn to God if you don't have one in your life, in whatever form he takes. Because you need him. You are an adopted baby, and I guarantee the reason you exist is because your mother was a Catholic or a Christian at the very least. Because in Canada, she wasn't allowed to give birth to you. Just so you know, your existence, your very life, is because you are born of a woman who was forced to choose life for you. Well, no, I beg your pardon. Was forced to choose to kill you and had to endure all manner of abuse in order to give birth to you in Canada. Trust me on that. I have first-hand knowledge of what it was like to be your mother. Your biological mother, not the one who raised you. She's a school teacher. She couldn't have kids. For whatever reason. I don't give a flying flip. Why? I'm sure she's a good person, because you're a good person. But your Argentinian wife has something to say about being Catholic. Come out of the closet, be Catholic if you are one, and act Catholic, and do the right thing. Canada is a Catholic country. Live with it, people. That's why we have so many churches. It wasn't the Catholics that killed Indians. No, we were killed right alongside of them as we fought with them. Read your friggin' history that comes from this book that I found. Guess what it is called? A citizenship book. Citizenship. Guess what? It's produced in Toronto, of all places. Toronto, the cesspool it's become now. But it's not just for Canadian citizenship, you darling. It's for American citizenship. It was both Canadian and American. It was printed in 1898. Now, I was wrong on Monday when I said 11 years before we were confederized. And I know that there are morons out there who believe that, oh, that means that she's crazy. Disregard her. I've got the book. I'm going to retrieve it today before I go to emergency to see if I'm stroking. I know that I might be stroking. It's okay. I know I might be in kidney failure. That's okay. That book is everything to me. That book means everything to Canadians. It's a documented proof And if you're willing to do the right thing, Mr. Pierre Poilievre, I will give it to you so you can read it and use it in Parliament as the opposition, the official opposition. You know, the guy who's supposed to be standing up for the people of Canada. There's not a real Canadian that came in. Well, there's a few. I'm gonna just give them the benefit of the doubt. Few immigrants who came after 2017. They came for the good reasons and deserve to stay. Most of them, however, if they could afford a ticket to Canada, don't belong here. Even if they are students, they need to go. Anybody who came after 2017 needs to be vetted. Needs to be vetted. You know the guy that was arrested a couple of years back? And his son out of Toronto who were stockpiling machetes? You know those people? Terrorists that got their citizenship for Canada in 2018 under the Mark Miller bullshit mandate? Come on, people. Wake up and watch the Elevate podcast. The Elevate podcast, that poor guy, he is on a learning curve like nobody knows. Joe Rogan, I love you so much. You're so good at challenging him because he exposed some pimples and bubbles and boils that he's got under his skin that he needs to get rid of. Pierre Poilievre, do the right thing. Pierre Poilievre, do the right thing. Call me. I'm going to be contacting my MP local. She got reelected after Colin Carey. Colin Carey was elected, and he actually knows who I am. I met with him a few times. I met with him once when we Canadian people tried Canadian Catholic Women's League, for example, just so you know. When the Catholic Women's League, as president of the Catholic Women's League, I met with him to try to recruit him to endorse the White Ribbon campaign. Or no, actually, to congratulate him on behalf of the Archdiocese of Toronto, because he did endorse the White Ribbon campaign that was happening during my presidency. I got kicked out of that presidency of the Catholic Women's League, by the way, just so you know. I get kicked out of every ministry that I belong to because, you know, everywhere is full of politicians, right? Politicians. Anyway, the point is, that's why I love Trump. He's not a politician. But when we needed to change Canadian law, I think it was 2006, to that permitted sexual contact from adults to minors, 14 years of age and more, older. You know, they had free access to their people of choice. People like Epstein didn't need to have an underground, filter that sent him women to be abused or men to be abused, whatever. Because in Canada, it was legal to, do as you will with people who were 14 years and older, right? That was Colin Carey, who was always a backbencher in the Harper government. That was part of his job. He helped us move that law up to 18 years of age, or to within a year of age of the person 14, prior to that. And now we've got what? Pedophiles infiltrating our school system, grooming babies in kindergarten to doubt their identity, what they choose to be sexually in kindergarten, right? My opinion. That's what these people, these counselors that are, installed in every public school system, and I hope not Canadian school system, but hey, there's a guy named the big booby guy that was a shop teacher during the summer after Trudeau became prime minister. And it was okay. It was against the law to say anything against transsexual identifiable people. He presented himself with a beard and a set of, I don't know what size cups they were, but they were pretty big boobs. He's definitely got a predilection toward, prepubescent boys. I suspect. I could be wrong. It used to be illegal for him to go for them. It used to be legal for him to have sex with 14-year-old boys. But in 2006, that was made illegal. So now, that's my thinking, my opinion. It might get me arrested. I don't care. What are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me, Canadian government? I dare you. I challenge you to. I'm public now, and I don't care who knows who I am, what I am. I'm a Catholic girl, and I'm angry, and I got a brain still. So, anyway, by the way, this should resonate with you because John Ryan Snow, he interviewed Jim Caviezel a year ago. He's on my playlist. Then Father Dan Reehill, R-E-E Hill, he interviewed him also a year ago. And then most recently he interviewed Father Rippinger. Those two priests are exorcists. I wonder why I might be trying to endorse those channels. And those channels, or that channel and those episodes specifically, I please implore Canadian people who are watching this feed or any feed that might be willing to endorse the channels that I endorse, please watch those 3 episodes in short order if you want to understand exactly what's happening in Canada and why it's happening. And of course, the Elevate podcast. Anyway, gotta go. Better get to church. I need to get to Mass and then to the hospital. God bless you. Have a good day. Hope to see you tomorrow.